Good afternoon. My name is Jane Brasher, and welcome to Rappler Talk. Today I'm going to be talking with Jimmy Alapag, who is one of the faces of Philippine basketball in recent years, and who just last week announced that he's retiring for good. So before anything else, I'd like to ask you first. It's been a few weeks since the PBA Finals, and Meralco was there against Barangay Ginebra. How have you been?
I've been great. Obviously it was tough losing the finals, but I think in the bigger scheme of things for our team, the experience that a lot of our guys had playing in the finals for the first time, I think was really invaluable. And I think moving forward, the next time that Morocco's in the finals, I think, we'll be much more prepared. And I think, for a lot of them playing in front of 20,000 fans on the final stage for the first time, I think they'll just be better for it the next time around.
Well, between then and now, between that time, you've obviously made the decision to retire for good for the second time. So I think a lot of people want to know, how did that happen?
Jane, when I first came back, and Coach Norman and I had a lot of conversations about the upcoming season and me coming back, and the fact that I'd had a 7-8 month layoff, I knew I still had something in the tank. I didn't know how much, but I knew I still had something left. And, I told them even before I came back officially that I said after the first season, we'll sit down together along with management and figure out what was going to be the next best step for everyone. Honestly, I didn't know how long it would take for our team to come together because I had never played with a lot of them. I mean, Raynell and I had played all-star games here and there, but as teammates, we never had. And of course, Jared and I were together at Talk and Text, and Gary and I were with Gilas for those few stints. But collectively as a group, I had never really played with a lot of them. So I think in terms of just what I envisioned for the team and how fast we would come together, I thought it would take much longer. But again, credit to Coach Norman and our staff and really all of our guys for really embracing what happened after the All-Filipino. Just really, again, rededicating ourselves and refocusing on the season and understanding that what happened in the All-Filipino wasn't going to change unless we changed it. And guys, started coming to the gym much earlier, started staying much later. And when you do that, it gives you an opportunity to be successful. So, I didn't, as well as we did in the second conference, to see things really come together this last Governor's Cup and to get to the finals, as great of a experience as it was to just be a part of that process at this stage of my career, I had nothing left. Being 38, turning 39 next month, there was just, there's just, I wasn't confident probably for the first time in my career that after the finals, having less than 2 weeks off and then having just 2 weeks to prepare for another full season, I'd never want to shortchange Coach Norman, the staff, our management by trying to do something that I myself wasn't confident that I could do.
So this wasn't something that you already knew, like, coming into the season? Like, this was a decision you made literally after the finals?
Yeah, I sat down with my wife and talked to my family back home and, just kind of stepped away a little bit and looked at where I was at physically and mentally after the season. And again, if there was anything left in the tank to do it again for another season, and there's just, there was just nothing left. I really felt like after the finals, everything that I had to give to the team, the Morocco franchise, to the game itself was what you saw. And I'm much more at peace now knowing that I'm walking away on my own terms, and so thankful for the opportunity from everyone at Morocco to get one more one more run at it, and to see our guys come together again, you know, it was tough. Going through the All Filipino and you finished last. It was the first time ever in my career we'd ever finished
Such a
last.
turnaround,
It was tough, but just to see the growth and to see the culture and really the work ethic and the focus from everyone, from all of us, change and end it with, you know, an opportunity to be in the finals, competing for a championship. And I mean, I know we lost, and you know it was tough, but I really felt that the team gave everything that they had, and you know, a couple breaks here and there, and the result could have been different.
Last year, I remember you told me when you came out of retirement, one of the big decisions behind, one of the big reasons behind that decision was that you wanted your kids to be able to see you play.
Absolutely.
So, what about now? How much did that factor in now?
You know, it's funny. After the finals, you know, my son felt pretty bad. You know, he's only 4. A quick funny story. You know, when my wife was telling my son, hey, you know, after the season, you know, we'll go to the beach together as a family because my kids love the water. And when he saw all the confetti blowing and falling on him, you know, he asked my wife, you know, Mama, did Dada win? And she said, no, he lost. You know, we didn't win. And so right away he said, oh, well, we're not going to the beach. And he was like brushing all the confetti off his arm because he was upset. But
That's so cute.
you know, we talked a few days after. You know, we were just having lunch together, and I said, you know, hey, my son, if Dada doesn't play anymore, but I'll still be involved in the game, and Dada will still be at the gym. Is that okay? And granted, he's only 4, but you know, he paused for a second. He said, well, Dada, will you and I still play? And I said, every day if you want. And he said, okay. So he was okay with it. And really, this past season, having my kids there, you know, along with LJ, I mean, it really meant everything. Having my son at practice, having both my son and my daughter behind the bench, and being able to kiss them before the game. You know, they weren't there for a majority of my career, and to have them see their dad play, you know, one more time, and to still see that, hey, you know, my dad could play a little bit. It really meant everything, and it made my decision to come back that much easier.
And they were also there for that. I remember the family picture you guys had when you received the recognition for breaking the 3-point record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a nice moment.
You know, it's funny. My son, you know, I got the ball from that game. My son uses it in the playroom, but I just said it just stays in the playroom. But you know, he says, oh, this is when Dada shot, you know, the 3-pointer. So
he's aware.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, you know, just having them around, you know, I know that we can never get that time back. I can never get the first part of my career back. And I knew coming back, you know, once the season was done, it was going to be done. And knowing that my kids could be there, you know, just to kind of be along for the ride with me. Yeah, it was everything.
So there were no second thoughts at all, because knowing that you guys went to finals, and then, you know, like, you were so close that you could possibly help them next season to the championship. No second thoughts as far as that.
No, you know, I took some time to really think about everything, and I felt, you know, having an opportunity to help the team in a different capacity, helping Coach Norman and the staff in whatever way I could, I felt would be much more helpful to the team than being out there, just because, again, you know, with such a quick turnaround, you know, I was still pretty mentally and physically fatigued after the finals, and to have to turn around so quickly for another full season, it was going to be tough. Well,
so you're one of the best, if not the greatest, 3-point shooters, as evidenced by that breaking that 3-point record.
Thanks.
For everyone else who didn't know, Jimmy actually broke the record for most 3-pointers previously held by Alan Kaidik this past finals. So this is actually a 2-part question about those 3-pointers. First is, what is your favorite 3-pointer in the PBA? I remember before you said that of all time, I think, or at least for Gilas, it was the South Korea three-pointer, right? The big one.
Absolutely, yeah.
But just the PBA, what's your most favorite three-pointer?
Most favorite, I think one of my most favorite from the PBA would probably be my rookie season. We were playing at Cuneta, and we were down 0-2 to Coke, and it was game 6, and we were up. Similar situation to the Korea game. We were up 1 or 2 points down the stretch. This is the Coke team with Johnny and Rudy Hatfield and Jeff Carriaso and Pochwinho, so they were loaded. And the ball got swung to me, under a minute left, and to hit that shot as a rookie, and actually my first conference in the PBA.
Nice.
It was something that I visualized and dreamed about for so long, and to have that moment kind of happen in my first conference, just kind of, for me, just felt like, so this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
To be lucky enough to be in the finals in your first conference as a rookie against arguably the greatest point guard in ever in Philippine basketball, in Johnny Abrientos, for it to happen then, that was a pretty special moment for me.
That must be so surreal, because at that time you had no idea that would be the start, or probably one of your early three-pointers that would lead to a record-breaking career.
It was a long time ago.
So the second part of that question is, of the current PBA players, who do you think will be able to break your current record?
Right now I think guys, some guys who stand out are obviously Marshall Lassiter. And Terrence Romeo. I know James Yap is pretty close. I think he's closing in on 1,000, if not already at 1,000. And even Don. I know Don's coming back for another year, so he could make a run at it. But all 4 of those guys are incredible shooters. Especially you look at guys like Marshall and Terrence, who are still, I think, in the middle part of their career, or the middle part of their basketball journey, and seeing how they shoot the ball, especially what Terrence has done these past few seasons. I think if he keeps that rate up, my record won't be up for very long. But again, for me, Alan Kaidik will always be the greatest shooter our country's ever seen, record or no record. But records are meant to be broken, and I'm sure, be it 5, 10, however many years down the line, somebody will come along and do the same to mine.
Well, do you see yourself at all in another player right now?
Do I see myself another player? I don't know if I see like my particular style, but I think I remember when I was fast and I was athletic, like Jason or Pringle. But again, I look at a kid like Becerra from Morocco, and just what he sees on the floor, his vision, and just how he kind of navigates the game. A lot of similarities to how I approach the game. I think that's the great thing about Philippine basketball. I think there's so many great young talented guards, not only in the league now, but who continue to come into the league. And it only makes the PBA much more competitive, and at the same time, improves the national team competing on the international level.
Well, next question is, who is your favorite teammate and the teammate you'll miss most?
Favorite teammate? 2 guys for different reasons. Willie Miller. We were only together for a short time early in my career.
Yeah.
But that's when Willie Miller was Willie Thriller Miller, and the 2 conferences we played together, we went to back-to-back finals. And even though we didn't win, that was a fun year. And he's wild and he's crazy and he's so funny. But when you're out there with him and you're competing, it's game time, and getting a chance to play alongside him so early in my career. I think that was the second or third year in the league that we played together. That was a lot of fun. So another guy is Mark Aguiwa. Same, we were never teammates in the PBA, but we played together on the national team in 2007. And I've known Mark since high school. We've known each other since high school, and his competitive spirit, his will, and just that fire that he's played with his entire career. I think we're very, very similar in that manner. And having played against each other literally our whole lives, even back in the States, to me playing for Talking Tex and him for Ginebra, it was always competitive. And for that brief time in 2007, we got to play together, even with JJ as well. And that was just a lot of fun because I felt like being on the court with somebody who really played with that same fire, just that competitiveness to go out there and do whatever you have to do to fight and to claw and to win. That was a lot of fun on the national team. Teammate I'll miss the most, probably Harvey. We came into the league together and really just experienced 97% of my basketball journey together. The guy's like family to me. He's my brother. Got drafted together, worked out before the draft together. We're roommates our rookie year.
Yeah, I remember you said that too. Like you slept in his couch or someone's couch or something?
Yeah, well, we actually stayed with Aussie while we were looking for our place our rookie year, and Harvey was on the floor and I was on Aussie's daughter's bed. But yeah, Harvey's he's my brother. He's family, and we really had a chance to experience so much together with Talking Tex, from the championship our rookie season to the 5 years that it took for us to win another one, and obviously the run we had with Coach Chot. It was a special time, and I'll definitely just miss the camaraderie and really the chemistry, not only that him and I had, but just being with that group.
So who is the greatest competitor you faced in the PBA and the toughest game you played?
Toughest competitor, again, I'd say Mark Aguiwa, just because he came to the league in 2001 and I came in 2003. So for a majority of our career, we played against each other a lot. Even when they won back-to-back championships back in 2005, they beat us in the finals. And then there's always been a very competitive but a very respectful kind of rivalry with Mark. And again, I've always had the utmost respect for just that fire, because I play the same way, and really trying to do what I could as a point guard to help our team win, whether it was scoring or creating opportunities for other guys. And he just had that same spirit about him. And I think obviously even now that he's been in the league for so long, you still saw flashes of it during the finals as well. So he's probably one that stands out the most. What was the other part? Sorry.
Toughest game you played?
Toughest game. But there've been so many. I think the toughest game was probably when we lost in Game 7 of the finals, when we had Donnell Harvey and Pure Foods at the time had Denzel Bulls.
Oh yes, was that the free throw?
Lost in overtime.
Yeah. Was that the free throw game? The free throw? No, the foul.
He
the
was
buzzer.
fouled. Apparently, at the end of the
that.
game, and there was no time left, and we were up 2, and credit to Denzel Bulls, he makes both. Donnell Harvey had fouled out, and the rest is history. But that was pretty tough.
Yeah,
That
I
was pretty
remember
tough.
watching that. The broadcast was like, I think it was Magoo or Miko Halili. I said like, when Talking Tex, no wait, there's a foul. There's a foul.
It was tough for sure.
Okay. Well, this one. Which is more emotional for you, the first retirement or this one?
I'd say this one, just because I know it's for good.
Yeah. The feeling.
I'm much more at peace with walking away from the game this time around. Because again, even when I did retire the first time, even though it was just last year, I was walking away, but there was a very, very small percentage that said, you still have something left, and even I didn't really know how much was left, just because I've been fortunate enough to play 12 years at that moment, and all the time that I'd spent playing with Gilas through the years. I knew that there was a lot of mileage on the legs, but I don't know if it's my competitiveness and again, the motivation, knowing that my kids will get one more opportunity to see me play. So I think this time around, knowing that I'm walking away for good and that a new chapter will start, probably this one.
Speaking of that new chapter, I think this is the money question. What's next for you?
Well, as of the moment, I'm still helping out with Morocco. I'm helping out Coach Norman and the staff. As of now, because it's been such a quick turnaround from the end of the finals to, we've only finished the first week of practice, and here we have the new season starting here in a few weeks. As of now, I've just been kind of doing more skill work and development with, certain guys before practice, after practice. Definitely more so with the guards, obviously. I don't know what post moves I could teach our big guys. I'll leave that to Coach Norman and the staff. But definitely focusing on working on, working with Chris Newsom and Becerra and Andrew Karam, and of course the Kiwa and Jonathan Gray. And again, just really to be there in a helping capacity, whatever I can do to help those guys improve their game. We've been doing obviously a lot of shooting work, before and after practice with the guys, just to try to teach them everything that I've learned these last 13 years, and hopefully they can apply some element of it to their game, and really something they can find useful, not just this season, but for the rest of their career.
Is that going to be a permanent thing?
As of now, for this season.
For this season, all right.
And then I'm also I'll be on staff with Coach Schott with Gilas, so I'm really looking forward to being more active with the program. There's even a possibility I'll be involved also with the grassroots program of Gilas, just that there's continuity within the program. But again, I still have to talk to management, because for right now it's still in the early stages of as far as what will be next for Gilas going into next year.
Is head coaching on the horizon for you at all?
I'm open to it, but I think like anything, while I have this opportunity to learn from Coach Schott, Coach Norman, and really, all of the staff, I think it's a great opportunity to just kind of do my homework a little bit and prepare. I spent my entire career, and based my game on preparation, and so I want to do my own homework and take what I can from all the Hall of Fame coaches I've played for throughout my career, from Joe Banal, Derek Warren, Coach Chad, Coach Norman. So I'm definitely open to it, but for right now I'm just concentrating on how I can help the Morocco team going forward, and how helpful I can be to Coach Chut and the Gilas program, and at the same time doing what I can to brush up on coaching and the teaching aspect of the game, for whatever might be ahead in the future.
So everyone knows you already as for your work with basketball as a player, and then now you're moving on as a coach. Who is Jimmy Alapag outside of basketball? Like, what's life outside of basketball for you?
Life outside of basketball, for me is pretty simple. Like this past season, if I wasn't at the gym for Morocco practice, or I wasn't training down the way at 360 Pro, doing my extra workouts, I'm with my family, I'm with my kids. I think having children changes your entire perspective on how you see life, because you can be selfish when it's just you and your significant other, your spouse, because it's just the two of you.
Yeah.
And LJ and I talk about it all the time where, hey, you want to go watch a movie? Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Now it's like, hey, you want to watch a movie? Okay, wait, let's get the kids' bag ready. We got to get milk, got to get their diapers. And so it's a well thought out, process before you move.
It's entirely different life.
But, again, my kids and I, we have a great time, and getting an opportunity to just be with them, knowing that they're so young, and trying to influence their life, the best you can, and be the best role model and example to them, is everything to me. I come from a big family. Both, it's funny because I'm the youngest of 6 in my family. LJ is the oldest of 6.
Oh.
And so, we, obviously,
Different perspectives.
different perspectives, but coming from big families, it's something that we both, really, really love, and our kids, man, they're awesome. We have a great time together, and I look forward to being, able to spend more time with them, as opposed to, when you're playing, a lot of the focus is so much into the game. And granted, it'll be the same coaching, but I think there might be a little bit more flexibility as far as time to be with them as well.
I'm sure you're going to inspire your kids, but you also inspired an entire generation of basketball players. A lot of people, or a lot of players now, are in the PBA because of you. So how do you feel about your legacy? What do you feel is the legacy you left behind, and are you satisfied with it?
Yeah, I'm completely satisfied with what I've left to the game, because like I said, after the finals, I really walked away knowing that everything that I had to give was what everybody saw. And I was very fortunate from a young age to have had a lot of people, obviously starting with my family and my brothers and sisters and my parents, who were very, very supportive of my dreams and my aspirations of wanting to be a pro basketball player. And growing up, just having a lot of different coaches and mentors who were able to kind of push me in that direction and not let me go and do, some of the dumb, crazy stuff that you could do when you're a kid. They always kept me on the right path and never let me stray away. And so, I'm really thankful for that, because it made me, really focus in on chasing something that I dreamed about, and not letting, I can't, or, it won't happen, be a factor, and just really going out there and finding a way to get it done. And I've taken that work ethic, along with me, throughout my career. And because I know how fortunate I was to have so many good people around me, I just tried my best, for all the other players who came after me, to try to be that example and to lend a helping hand, whenever I could, just because that's what the game's about. It's the relationships that you build with people. I mean, the championships are incredible, and the wins and the awards, those are all great, but it's really the relationships that you build with people, and then building those relationships and taking those journeys to those championships and to those wins. That's what I'll hold on to, and to know that I've been able to have a positive influence on the guys who are coming into the league or are in the league, who just came after me. It means a lot, and I, again, I think that's what the game's all about. I think it all comes full circle. If you're blessed to have had a lot of people who've looked out for you, it's only right to reciprocate that and do the same.
Is that what you'll miss most, like the relationships you built?
Yeah, just going to practice and messing with the guys, and the road trips, and again, that camaraderie. It's a unique and special circle that you share, because you see those guys, maybe more than you see your family a lot of times, just because you're with them
Yeah, you're always
so
together.
much, during the day. So yeah, I'll definitely miss that. But again, it's just part of the journey, and then, that's why I encourage all the younger guys now that, I know it's cliche, and I know you hear it all the time, that, this game and your career will go by fast, but man, it really, really does. So, I just encourage them to really just enjoy every bit of the process, all the, the work, the success, the struggle, all of it, because it's all a part of it.
Okay, so we move on to the last part of this. It involves fan questions.
Sure.
We ask people on social media some if they have any questions for you.
Sure.
Well, this one is from Christopher J on Twitter. He asks, describe your basketball career in one sentence.
That's a good question. So one word.
Well, one sentence.
Oh, one sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could do one word, why not?
My career has just been an absolute blessing.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. And then this next one is from Clark Yap. He asked, I trust and have faith in the Gilas process. Who do you think we should target to replace Blatch? I think this comes from because I think the PBA and Gilas announced, or SBP announced that they're looking at adding another naturalized player for Blatch. So who do you think, if you have any ideas?
That's tough because again, I think getting a naturalized player for our Gilas team, there has to be not only the talent part, but I think there has to be a connection to the guys, to the coaching staff, and to the country. Because I tell people all the time, playing for Gilas, I know other players who play for different national teams, but when you play for our country, Gilas is what connects not just everyone here at home, but all the kababayan who work in the States and Middle East and in Europe. It kind of unites us as Filipinos. So, it'll be up to Coach Chad and the rest of our staff to try to find somebody who can be the best fit for the team going forward, because there's going to be new faces as well.
Yeah.
So that's a tough question, but we'll definitely have to do our homework and really try to search the globe and see who's available.
This one from Franklin Jasmine Apostol. I'm not sure if this is a he or she, but he or she asks, who will be the first Filipino player that can play in the NBA for you?
Again, that's another tough question. Playing the NBA and getting a chance to play against those guys before I came to the PBA, my first 2 years out of college. They're the best players in the world for a reason, and it's incredibly tough. But I think through the years we've definitely closed that gap, and I think us as Filipinos are kind of knocking on that door to the NBA. I don't know who will be the first. I know Kiefer and Ray Parks are taking their shot at it. I know Japet did a few years back, and you
Kobe Paras.
and Kobe Paras is playing in Division I. So again, those guys are kind of pounding on that door. And again, we have a lot of great players here in our country as well. So I don't know who will be the first, but I don't doubt that there will be one very soon. And again, we have two guys now kind of pounding on that door some more. So who knows, that door might just open.
This one's from me. When do you think Asi Taulava will retire? If you were to
Man,
guess.
the ageless Iron Man himself. I don't know. He signed for another 2 years, which takes him to, I believe, 45.
Yeah.
And, for everyone out there, that's just an incredible thing to be playing, in such a highly competitive and talented league at 45. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's shooting for 50. I don't know if he's maybe chasing Jaworski's record. But again, Asi's durability has been second to none. As long as he's been in the PBA, and still, even as recently as last season, showing that he can still get out there and still play. So, I wouldn't want to put a cap on when he's done, but he'll be around for another 2 years. So I would just encourage everyone to enjoy seeing him out there because he's been one of the most dominant figures in our league for a long time.
All right. Thank you again, Jimmy, for joining
Thanks.
us today.
Thank you for having me.
Always
Thanks.
a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we've been speaking with Jimmy Alapag. He just announced his retirement for good this time last week. You can follow more sports coverage on Rappler.com/sports, and you can follow us on Twitter @RapplerSports or Twitter.com/RapplerSports. I'm Jane Brasher. Thank you for joining us.